Welcome to the dark side of Realm of the Mad God. Today I will be your host, Marcus RotMG, and today we'll be discussing Outlaw, the current #1 player on the leaderboards for fame, now surpassing 1 million fame, a renowned hacker, cheater, exploiter, fame botter, who has countless evidence against him, and we'll be discussing how he has evaded being banned permanently. Before we get underway, I must preface that this is not an inflammatory message against DECA, nor is it trying to bring down DECA. This is more so a case study on one of the most nefarious players of all time, a renowned cheater, exploiter, and hacker, who has somehow evaded being banned countless times. Whereas numerous random other players who are nowhere near as nefarious as this individual have somehow been permanently banned, character and vault wiped, etc. To begin this video, we will start off with numerous pieces of definitive and irrefutable evidence of Outlaw breaking the TOS on numerous occasions. Although it is not all-inclusive, it should be varied enough in time of capture and type of offense so that it should create a portfolio for DECA should they choose to watch this video in order for them to definitively permanently ban Outlaw, or else risk being hypocritical, showing partisanship, and also being prejudiced. We will then transition to a discussion on all of the exploits and accusations against Outlaw. We will then finish off this video to parse through DECA's certain favoritism towards certain players over others in accordance with the amount of money they have spent. Please note that this video includes a lot of personal anecdotes as well as anecdotes from other players as well. And although not all of the evidence can be provided in this short amount of time, it is almost certain that DECA has the amount of evidence needed to permanently ban Outlaw, but has decided not to. That being said, let's get underway. Let's begin with this 7-second clip of someone irrefutably watching Outlaw Auto Nexus. As we watch the clip, first few things to notice is that this is being played on the Exalt client. This player is not hacking and is currently in normal production of Realm. We see a fame train going on, and as they cross the lava, a few Medusa shots come out. The most important thing to note is that one person, a sorcerer, dies immediately. Outlaw, however, stays for a split second and then suddenly disappears. Before I dive into the deep analysis on why it's clearly auto-nexusing, just by watching the clip, you can pretty much tell that this is inhuman reflexes at work, and there's no way a person would be able to nexus that quickly right after being hit by 5 stacked Medusa bombs. But besides that, let's get on with the rest of it. Let's begin with a presupposition that his paladin is around 850 HP. With all of the buffs and his items, he should be standing around 900 HP. In the following clip, you'll see him run through 5 to 6 tiles of lava. It could be more, like 7, considering that he's running really fast through them, and in Realm, if you run through lava faster, you take more damage from the lava. But let's do a conservative estimate and say that he only ran through 6 tiles of lava. On average, a lava tile gives 45 HP reduction. That means it's 6 times 45 HP that he's lost from running through the lava. At this point, Outlaw is standing at the edge of the lava. While he's no longer taking damage from the lava itself, he takes his stacked Medusa bomb from the right side. While we cannot clearly discern whether or not this is a stacked Medusa bomb, knowing that there have been so many Medusas in the area, this could have easily been 3 or 4 Medusa bombs stacked on top of each other. But let's suppose that this is only one Medusa bomb that is hitting him from the right side. Each Medusa bomb does 150 damage, and with 50 defense, roughly, although he clearly has less on equipped, he will be taking 100 damage per Medusa bomb. Meaning right now, if estimated at around 900 HP, he's walked through lava, he's now taken 45 times 6 and an additional 100 damage from the Medusa Bomb. At this point, we have to take into account his induced healing from his paladin buff and also his pet. His pet is at 100 HP heal, so he heals 90 per second. This means that in the time elapsed, which has only been 1 second, he heals for 90 HP. This means we can add 90 on top of his total. Additionally, the induced healing is too little for it to be a factor in this short of a time frame. Therefore, we cannot really accurately calculate this. Now in the following second, 5 Medusa Bomb shots at least shoot out. In reality, there could be 6 to 7 Medusa Bombs stacked up, if not more, but with a conservative estimate, we can say that only 5 Medusa Bombs at least dropped on him, since there are 5 distinguishable different bombs. If you've been keeping up with the math, this means that Outlaw is somewhere around 100 HP in this extremely conservative estimate. If he is using Auto Nexus, he should immediately disappear, right before or right after the Medusa Bombs appear on his character. So what happens in the clip? He immediately decides to disconnect. However, if you show the next few seconds, it is clear that nothing else was coming. If he wasn't using a hack client, he would have just continued even though he was blinking. The fact that he instantly disappeared means that there is some kind of question that should be called in. It's pretty much needless to say that a player cannot react within a millisecond to 5 stacked Medusa Bombs, as well as being hit by another Medusa Bomb only half a second before, and also walking through 5 to 6 to more tiles of lava. And there's a perfect example of this, as a toxic bomb on a sorcerer, albeit, walks through only 2 tiles of lava, and then is hit by 5 to 6 of those Medusa stacked shots, and instantly dies. That is an example of a normal player reacting to 5 to 6 Medusa Bombs. That's what happens. He just pops and dies. Whereas somehow Outlaw manages to escape without even blinking. Why is that? Because he's clearly using a client. In reality, the Medusa Bombs that were stacked on top of him were much more than the 5 on the left and the right with 1. This is because Medusa Bombs that are stacked on top of each other don't appear as different distinguishable bombs. But the fact that we can at least count 6 distinguishable bombs with so many more unaccounted for due to the fact that they overlap, Outlaw should definitively be in either the range for Auto Nexus or definitely death. And like I prefaced, the Sorcerer is a clear example of what happens when a character does not have Auto Nexus on and instantly dies due to Medusa Bombs. When Outlaw instantly disconnects, this is a work of inhuman reflexes that no one can replicate unless they are using a hack client. Also, additionally, it is important to note that on all platforms of Realm of the Mad God, whether it is the website, the Flash player, or the Exalt, when Medusa Bombs are stacked from far away and they come from off the screen Medusas, you cannot see the Medusa Bombs until they've landed on top of you. Outlaw was clearly using one of these platforms as there are no other platforms to play on, and because of this, there is no way he could have seen the Medusa Bombs coming from off the screen. The Medusa Bombs in these situations suddenly appear as splashes of red, and you have literally no time to react to this. This is evidenced by the Sorcerer, who, if he knew that the Medusa Bombs were coming and they were stacked, he wouldn't have walked across the lava towards that direction, the same direction that Outlaw walked in. However, he did in fact do this and died. Outlaw, on the other hand, took an even straighter path towards it, but he suddenly didn't die because he's clearly using a hack client to Auto Nexus, and we have more to show yet. You might be wondering, well, a lot of people hack. Why is this particular player very important? Well, here I will be showing you the fame, count, and history of Outlaw. At this point in time, Outlaw has 1,010,000 plus fame. This means that he has not died on all of those characters pretty much forever. This person has continually farmed and farmed and farmed fame, and in a permanent death game where you can die instantly and lose everything, this is absolutely outrageous. There are players who play for fun that don't climb the leaderboards, but when your number one player is a player who has survived for so long off of sneaky tactics like using fame botting, exploiting in shatters and house halls, he deems it necessary to both brag about it and also climb the leaderboards until he is the number one player illegitimately, it calls into question whether Realm of the Mad God is even worth playing anymore. Imagine any other video game, and the top two players, right now we're focusing on the number one player, Outlaw, is a hacker and an exploiter and a botter who does everything he shouldn't but somehow never gets punished for it. And later in the video I will discuss why. Would you want to play that game? To DECA's credit, they have been banning or fame wiping certain players based on their exploitations of the fame or certain types of hack clients. However, there are many cases where either a player is actually completely innocent or is actually innocent for the most part and accidentally meddled with certain things that they were goaded into. But from these screenshots of Outlaw, which I will now be able to show you that is verified to his Fame Train, Lost Halls, and RotMG Discord list servers, these are all screenshots of him bragging to other players or myself that he has in fact fame botted, sometimes played legit, but for the most part been immune to fame wipes. This in fact is a screenshot of his real verification for his IGN Outlaw and with the same exact Discord name, Grim. This Grim has the same hashtag as all of the other Discords and also my personal messages and other screenshots of him saying that he is immune or either fame bots or exploits. So now you should understand why Outlaw should be permanently banned. He's not only a bad person overall, but he also is an exploiter of all the rules in Realm of the Mad God and does so in order to climb the leaderboards. If for whatever reason you still don't believe that this is Outlaw's Discord and everything related to it, including the messages, are from Outlaw himself, then we have a screenshot here where he defends himself against the same exact clip we dissected earlier. As you can clearly read, he is talking about the Medusa bombs from the same exact video, which is linked right there in front of him. Now let's move on to more evidence that is irrefutable and definitive so that DECA can in fact ban Outlaw. Now this next piece of evidence is using a hack client in order to see the inventory of Outlaw. What happens in this clip is that Outlaw is using auto loot and auto stacking on his 059 client. How we can know this is because he automatically picks up each item and then stacks them immediately. If I slow down this clip, it is irrefutable that he is using an auto stacking and auto looting client because within the split second that he loots the item, he automatically stacks it. If you think about it, if a real person was trying to accomplish this goal, they would have to pick it up, double click it, or drag it super fast and then somehow drag the other thing within the same exact second, which is impossible. Not even the most mechanically gifted players of all time could do this. This was an action taken under a split second and within milliseconds of each other. And even if it were possible and Outlaw was the most mechanically gifted player in the world, which he's not, he would have to practice infinite amount of times in order to get this down. And even if he did practice, why the hell would you practice stacking stackables in Realm of the Mad God? In this next clip, Outlaw is caught allowing other players to follow him in a fame train. In the first clip, you will see that he actually stops and a bunch of players bunch up on him. It is a clear sign that other players are following him. However, for the next minute of the clip, he continues on. This means he was fully aware that other people were following him, but he allowed it to continue and still kept on going in the fame train. If he really wanted it to get stopped, then he would have nexused and then come back later on. But he allowed these players to follow him and therefore is culpable for this exact same offense. Even more damning is that these players that are following him are actually his guildies. That means that he is fully aware of the consequences of what he's doing. He is allowing other people to fame exploit and gets away with it because he's currently unbanned, and none of those players in that video are banned either. If there is any piece of evidence that is most damning against Outlaw, it is this one. Not only is he allowing other players to engage in TOS breaking behavior, he's explicitly exploiting fame and fame trains in order to allow his friends and himself to gain more fame than other players would by normally playing the game. By doing this, he should be banned permanently, as well as the players following him. Countless players have been banned for the same exact thing under the pretense of fame botting and fame exploiting, and the fact that he hasn't been banned for this, and additionally the fact that he's actually aiding other players to do this, means that he should be banned twicefold, but instead he's just not. And again, if you're somehow still not convinced that he is aiding others in fame exploiting, then we have a clip right here where he says, "Fuck no, way too obvious," when another player references what he's doing and wants him to add another account to their fame exploits. This means that he's clearly in on it, and in fact, he is actually encouraging it while keeping it somewhat, in quotations, safe for them to not be banned. Why else would someone say, "Fuck no, way too obvious," while they're aiding others to fame exploit? There's no other reason. He's just straight up in on it and allowing others to fame exploit while doing the same himself. I know it may be outrageous, but DECA has been banning people for allowing other players to follow them, and they know this. This means that Outlaw should be definitively banned for the same exact offense. And for our final piece of evidence today, we have Outlaw quit connecting. You may be wondering why this is an issue. It is an issue because normal production of Realm has a 2-second lag or 2000 millisecond lag, in which when you enter a portal, it makes you stop in a loading screen until you load in. The person recording in question is also hacking and using an 059 client that allows him to quick connect. In this video, you see that when he loads in, Outlaw has loaded in before him. This is clear evidence that Outlaw also is using a hack client, whether or not it's 059 or another one, in order to quick connect, and therefore is definitively cheating. Now let's just move on to the discussion part of the video, which after all of that evidence should be obviously in need. As we've shown before, Outlaw is culpable for all of these offenses that he's taken part of. However, there are some accusations that we have had and will have that don't have the evidence in this video, but DECA has definitely received. So not only does he use a hack client to climb the leaderboards and never die, and now is currently number 1, and also brags about his immunity to fame wipes and DECA, and also his bragging about his exploits, he also does various different things. These different things that DECA knows about are both multi-boxing in certain dungeons in order to get more fame with Cutie, especially Lost Halls, and also fame botting, and also fame exploiting in small amounts so that he will not be targeted. The biggest piece of evidence I can show you is just his fame history. He's just continually gained fame over and over. I mean, he has a 600,000 fame warrior and countless 40,000 plus fame characters, and his fame has continually risen without a single drop because he's just used all these hack clients and exploits, and with no stopping him, he has continued to climb, and it's about time we've put that to a stop. Even if you claim that we do not have the evidence currently, first of all, DECA does have the evidence, and second of all, just by looking at it, it's quite outrageous. It's just impossible for someone to reach 1 million of fame without using some kind of hack client. And with the amount of evidence I've showed you already in this video, you could say that 1 or 2 of those clips can be somewhat refuted, but with all of these videos in conjunction and also all the evidence that DECA has already received from countless reports, this is definitively something that Outlaw cannot ignore. and the rest of the community cannot ignore either. You've seen that he has 1 million fame. You've seen that he's done so many sketchy things that in conjunction should be enough to be permanently banned from this game. And now we're going to discuss why he does not get permanently banned. Outlaw does not get banned for 2 main reasons. Number 1, he spends a lot of money on this game. And number 2, he reports countless different other players and accounts for the same exact things he does, but on lesser scales, and gets away with it because he receives immunity for being the one who reports others. Let's talk about the first one, that he spends a lot of money. DECA has already admitted that players that spend gold already receive preferential treatment. However, I understand that. I totally understand that, and I think everybody should. This company needs to make money, and the people that make them the most money are the people who genuinely spend thousands of dollars every month and every week. And Outlaw is probably one of those players. However, preferential treatment to a certain degree is outright different from favoritism in the fact that you are not banning this player for the same exact things you're banning so many other players who also are paying customers, but this person somehow gets immunity because he pays a little bit more. Maybe even if he pays a lot more. These other players are humans too, and they're paying their hard-earned money as well. And many of us are kids, teenagers, young adults that don't have that much money. And the fact that Outlaw is an older person that has more money does not make it okay for him to never get permanently banned for the same things that other people do. And in reality, other people do these things, and sometimes by mistake. Sometimes it's a one-time thing. Sometimes it's like they get goaded into it and they made a mistake that they can never take back, but it's a simple mistake. Outlaw is not making a mistake here. He is purposefully doing this so that he can climb the leaderboards. And it's just not okay that he gets this preferential treatment, or in quotations preferential treatment, when in reality he's getting favoritism just for the money he spends. If DECA doesn't act on this correctly, it is pretty much outright prejudice. There are 2 solutions I believe that DECA should take in this case, that either one of them would probably solve the problem. The first one is to either character fame wipe all of Outlaw's characters since he has been exploiting and hacking for all of them, or permanently ban him. If they want to keep the paying customer, they should fame wipe him. If they want to actually discipline a player that has been the most outrageous and nefarious player of all time, then they should ban him. If DECA takes this route, that means they are subscribing to the policy where TOS breaking behavior should be permanently punished, and that would be similar more to Sebchu's route, where in his video he described that these hackers should not get off so lightly. The second idea I propose is one where DECA is more lenient in their policy against hackers and exploiters, but only to a certain degree. As many of you guys may know, there was a recent ban wave where many different players were fame wiped and permanently banned. These were because of suspicion for fame exploits and exploiting the rules in general, such as hack clients. However, wouldn't you know it, Outlaw, the most blatant one, who has been reported countless times and also has a fame history that is the most blatant of any other player except for Cutie, he was not banned. If you check the Realmeye of both Maldir and I'm Bullet, you see that they claim that DECA falsely accused them of fame exploiting or another TOS breaking behavior and therefore falsely banned them. As I said before, DECA is taking steps to ban fame exploiters and hack client users. However, in this second proposition, I believe DECA should be a little bit more lenient. Instead of on the first try, banning or character wiping all of these players that could or could not be legitimate, they should give them a second chance without all of that punishment to see whether or not this is a repeat offender. Because a lot of the times, either these players are legitimate players or they're mostly legitimate players that accidentally dabbled in something they shouldn't have. A lot of the times, the community pushes certain players to hack or use exploits on accident, and whether or not they were fully conscious of all of the consequences of their actions, these were just simple players who didn't even know what they were doing most of the time. and to punish them completely on the first try while allowing Outlaw to go scotch-free is just completely unacceptable. I'm sure there are people who deserve to be punished, but if there's one player who deserves most to be punished, it's Outlaw. This player has done so much and bragged so much and exploited so much and never been punished, while all these other players may have done it once or twice and been punished fully. So DECA, please choose either to permanently ban Outlaw or character wipe him just like you did the rest of them, or be more lenient in your policy and allow other players to make mistakes and then fix their mistakes and therefore have a less toxic environment. And this leads into my second point about how Outlaw somehow has immunity from being banned from DECA despite all the evidence and reports against him. What Outlaw has done is turn the system against itself and now played DECA. He has become the most notorious exploit and hacker reporter in order to receive immunity for himself. He has taken this so far as to actually goad other players into doing hacks and exploits and pretend like these aren't bannable, and then once he does that, he records them and gets them banned. And because of DECA's now strict policy, he often has them permanently banned. Within the community, you may know countless people who are banned because of Outlaw and countless people who left the game because of Outlaw. This is what he does. He plays the system and he plays DECA like a fiddle. So let's discuss whether or not this is fair. Okay, just kidding. Yeah, it's obviously not fair. No player should have the power to do whatever he wants just because he's able to record other players. He's either abusing this power, or this is a power he should not have at all in the first place. Now let's step back and take a look at both of the reasons. Number one, that he spends more money than other people, and number two, that he goads other people into hacking in order to record them and get them permanently banned, or just record a ton of people just in general. Both of these are extremely illegitimate and should not be allowed. In any free-to-play game, there should not be a player who is allowed to have inordinate amounts of power just because of what they do or what they pay. If you don't believe me that DECA has allowed Outlaw to have inordinate amounts of power without being a moderator or a developer, then you should just think about your own friends. I'm talking to you, the community. Think about your friends that have quit the game. A lot of them is because Outlaw reported them for doing something slightly suspicious or just downright normal, and he gets unlimited power just because he's Outlaw. He pays more, he does more, he reports more, he just does everything more, and therefore he receives inordinate power, a power that should not be blessed to him. And now you might ask the question, after all of this, why haven't you contacted DECA directly about this? Well, in fact, I have. For the past month, I've been talking with DECA about whether or not we can get this issue resolved. And what they responded with are these following screenshots. I must say that DECA's employees have been extremely courteous with dealing with me. Whenever I respond to them, they give me a response within 2 weeks. Although that may not seem like a fast time, for them it's very difficult for them to deal with so many cases all at once. And the fact that they took the same time for me as they did for other players is really a testament to how great of a job DECA is doing with their support system. However, this is one grievance that cannot be left alone because it's just so egregious what they've done with Outlaw. I sent the same exact video in a shorter form to DECA, and this is what they responded with. With regards to Outlaw specifically, I am not going to go into details as it is against our policies to discuss any player's specific actions with anyone but the players themselves. However, what I'm going to confirm to you is that your concerns have been brought up for a very thorough and very detailed review to the senior members of our game and security teams. They will take all that you've presented into account and act accordingly, as per our internal policies and terms of service. The email goes on to say that DECA does not take into consideration spending status when suspending accounts, but this does not mean that they don't take it into consideration when unbanning or unsuspending accounts. Additionally, here's a screenshot from their blog post that they posted maybe a year ago or so, where they say that inherently people who spend more money on this game will also inherently get more consideration for being unsuspended. Not only that, I have specific examples of players breaking the 2OS but being unsuspended mainly because of the money they spent, because they sent a ton of receipts in. And although I will not go into full detail on this, I can if need be. Additionally, they go on to state that they do not favoritize players that regularly report violations to them, especially in cases where they have been reported for the same offenses. And unfortunately, that says very little, because what they can say is that Outlaw has not been reported for the same offenses and therefore can suspend other players by reporting them. I understand that DECA holds all the power in this. This is in fact their game, obviously, and this means they can make executive decisions on this, but it's still up to us, the community, to let them know our voice when we consider players of this magnitude doing such shady things. And so even if DECA does not consider Outlaw to be supposedly under this umbrella of both spending more and also reporting more, it is in fact a thing that he does do these things, and it is just unfair. And if you're wondering why Outlaw has not been banned, well, here's an official statement from DECA. As for your video on Outlaw, we have watched it and will discuss it internally. We cannot share any of our thoughts or decisions on the matter, as we cannot discuss other players' accounts with third parties. Please take note, however, that a large amount of the evidence you have included in your video cannot be used as proof of terms of service violation, as either circumstantial or recorded on a hack client. Number one, I'd like to preface with the fact that a lot of these players did in fact use hack clients in order to record Outlaw, but a lot of this evidence cannot be gathered in any other way. And I understand that the only reason why hack clients can't be used for these type of things is they can be deep faked or faked in general. However, in this case, it's obvious that this is not the case. In these situations, all of these are clear pieces of evidence of Outlaw hacking if the hack client was in the video. Additionally, with so many instances of using hack clients or not using hack clients to see him either exploiting, helping others to exploit fame, or hacking himself, it is impossible to deepfake all of these different videos. With so many different players involved in the background, it's just null when you consider the likelihood that these are all faked. Additionally, with his Discord screenshots and all of the things he says aligning with all of the actions that he takes in-game, it's obvious that these are the same people. And in fact, the most non-circumstantial proof is this infinite piece of evidence where he is clearly allowing other people to exploit fame while following him. And he is clearly in on it, as he says, fuck no, way too obvious when they suggest something else to be added to it. Or when the fact that these players are in the same exact guild as him. He's clearly communicated with them to help him exploit fame. It's clear that these accounts could or could not be his accounts as well. I mean, some of the players are talking like they aren't the same person as Outlaw, but who knows? This could be the same exact person exploiting on multiple accounts, and you don't even know. But the fact that DECA states that it is circumstantial, and thus in 1 month's time has not banned or even character wiped Outlaw, is just egregious. So after 3 years of reporting Outlaw with hundreds if not thousands of reports on Outlaw and this whole extensive video telling you exactly what he's doing while showing you the clear pieces of evidence, it's clear that Outlaw shouldn't be given the benefit of the doubt, even though DECA is providing that for him. As much as I'd like to believe that DECA will eventually take action without me posting this video or anybody speaking out on it, it's just pretty much obvious that they're trying to say that they won't take action, and it's just sad to see. This doesn't change my mind about DECA in general as a company. I think they're a pretty great company. They've done a lot for Realm, but this specific instance is just not acceptable. And I just like to ask you guys, the community, please speak up and do whatever you can to tell everybody about this. Like the video, share the video, even dislike it if you don't like it, give me criticism if you want, but just any conversation engaging on this specific topic is very important, because what happens when new players come into this game and they learn that their number one player at the top of the leaderboards is a hacker who has condoned hacking, has done it himself, brags about being immune to fame wipes and character wipes, being someone who exploits and then brags about fame botting. I mean, this is just a terrible example that we'd like not to accept in the community, and hopefully this will never happen again. With that being said, it's been a long video, and I appreciate it if you've stuck here to the end, and really, please do enjoy the rest of your day, as I know this information is quite hard to hear. But yeah,